Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to my channel. In case you are just joining us today for the first time, welcome back or welcome. Sorry, not welcome back. Welcome, and if it's you and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. We appreciate and I appreciate all the likes and the views that you've given me. I know I am sounding like someone who has 1 million views or followers. I don't, but for the few that I have, I appreciate every time you click on my channel to watch a video and even like and even go ahead to subscribe. So, in today's video, the last time I did a sit down video, is it a sit down or a stand up? Anyway, the last time we did a video, well, I was talking about loving people from a distance. I was talking about loving from a distance, and we talked about a few things and people that I think I was talking mainly about people you need to love from a distance. So today I'm to tell you guys 5 signs that you need to love someone from a distance, and also I'll tell you how to love someone from a distance. That's what I want to teach you guys today. That's what you want to talk about. I'm not really teaching you because I feel like I'm always learning in the process of telling someone something. Yeah. Anyway, so today we're doing 5 signs to love people from a distance. Sign number 1: people who disrupt your peace. People who disrupt your peace. If you're in a relationship or if you're in a friendship that doesn't feel peaceful to you, peace is however you define peace. If peace is quiet and nobody's making noise and whatever, that's a sign of peace. So that is what you call peace, and that's it. And if to me peace is just being, for me peace is being in an emotionally stable environment for myself and even for my friends and family and everyone. So if you're someone that disrupts my peace or someone that disrupts your peace, that's a sign to cut them off. And number 2, they don't respect your boundaries. It's one thing to communicate boundaries and for someone to respect them. It's another thing when you don't communicate them but expect people to know that there are boundaries. They're not boundaries if you've not talked, or they're not boundaries if you've not set them. So 1, people do not respect your boundaries. If I tell you I'm not comfortable with 1, 2, 3 and you still feel like, and you still continue to do something despite me having told you that I'm not comfortable with it, that means you do not respect my boundaries. So that's enough reason for you to cut off someone, or for you to love someone from a distance. But on today's episode, we're not talking about cutting off. We're talking about loving from a distance. I love you, but I can't continue to give you the same access that you've been having. I don't know if it still makes sense, but I hope you follow through. If this is your if this is the episode that you're watching today and you've not watched the previous one about loving from a distance, please go and watch that and then connect to this one so that you'll be able to see where this conversation is going. Number 3, they are incapable of loving you the way you need to be loved. Someone who's incapable of loving you the way you need to be loved. If your love language is words of affirmation and you feel like that is how you feel like love has been expressed to you, or you feel like that is how you feel like you express love and that's how you receive love, and the people around you cannot love you in the same manner despite you having communicated, that's a good reason to love them from a distance. It's not even about just the love languages. There's a way you want to feel when you are loved by friends and all your loved ones. If someone is making you feel uncomfortable in the way they love you. They're loving you the way they want to be loved and not the way you want to be loved. That's selfish, and it's also a really good reason to love someone from a distance. Number 4, you have to deny yourself in order to share the same space with them. Sorry. Number 4 basically says you have to deny yourself in order to share the same space with them. So if I love you, but you're not willing to compromise some things, so I'm always the one who's compromising in order to be in your space, or for us to be in the same space. If someone makes you feel that, it's not good. And it's also like I always have to dumb down myself so that you feel comfortable, but there's no point that you will do the same for me. So there's no compromise. It's either you or nothing. So that is not a good sign. It's like one-sided. The relationship is basically one-sided. It's like you continuously pour into this person and there's nothing they are giving back. I think those are 5. Also, I just want to give you a biblical example of loving from a distance. You see, Jesus had disciples. Apart from the 12 disciples, Jesus had so many followers. Apart from just the 12 disciples that are in the Bible, Jesus had over 75 other disciples, and there are also other people who followed Jesus. But out of these, the 12 were the closest to him, and out of the 12, when Jesus was going to pray, when Jesus was going to have his prayer on the mountain, he took only 3. To mean, he looked at all. It's not like all these others were not good people or they are bad people, but he looked at the relationship and the relationship with that he had with these 3 that he went with, and the relationship that he had with all the other 12 disciples. So Jesus actually loved all his disciples, but when it came to doing some things, Jesus did most of the things with only 3. Even sometimes he did some things alone, despite him having the disciples. But he loved everyone equally. He loved everyone equally. You must know that he loved everyone equally, but when it came to choosing who will be with him at a certain point and at a certain level of his prayer and of his calling, he had to have certain people that were there. So you don't have to bring everyone along as much as you love all of them. I hope it's making sense. So anyway, let's go to the other point. I want to teach you how to love someone from a distance. How to love someone from a distance. So first, before you decide if you need to love someone from a distance, number 1 point you should do is assess and reassess their access. So their current access. So their access to you currently, you should access that one and reassess again to make sure that they have the right access. Know the role they are playing in your life. That is just the meaning of this. And what role do you want them to play? Someone can be playing a role, but it's not the role you want. I want you to be a friend, but you're not being a friend. Instead, you're being a mother. So, you see, that's not the role that you want from that person. So, access, the access they have to you, you should reassess that access. Look into it. Know what role is this person playing in my life, and if this person is playing this role, is this the role that I want them to play in my life? If it's not, have you communicated that actually this is not the reason as to why we are born to be here? And if you have communicated and they still continue to love you in the way they choose or play the role they choose, first of all, I don't think you should even communicate, because in the first place, before you hang out or before you choose someone, they automatically will know the role according to how your conversations will be and how you will automatically tell them in the beginning. So if in the long run they come and they don't do what you guys have agreed to, and they start playing a different role that is not the role you want them to play in your life, you can start loving them from a distance. So first, assess and reassess their current access. What access do they have to you right now currently? Okay, number 2, if someone no longer holds a specific role in your life. If someone no longer holds a specific role in your life, their level of access can't be the same. I think I told you this in the previous video, that if you've broken up with someone, for instance, in a relationship or even a friendship, they cannot have the same access. So if we used to hang out and do everything, but you're not in good terms, we do not expect to do the same things, even though we are not together in this relationship. If you're in a relationship, you're dating someone, you do not expect to do the same things you do in a relationship while you're not together. So their role in your life cannot be the same. So how to love from a distance, and also how to deny that access, is don't give them the same access if the role is not the same. Limit your contact. That is number 3. Limit your contact to this person. You want to love someone from a distance, but you're always in their face, but you're always in their business. There's no way that is going to work. You have to limit your access to this person and give them distance, and don't be too available. Don't be the person who's always available. You want to love them from a distance, but when they call, you're on toes, you're running. So that cannot work. Anyway, another point. Number 3, predetermine your emotional budget. What emotional budget means is how much emotions are you willing to spend on this. That is basically what it means. How much are you willing to go emotionally for this person, or how much are you willing to spend emotionally on this person? So this is like when I had said in a video before, I had been struggling with the Messiah complex, where you are carrying everybody's luggage, carrying everybody's, like, you just want to be the fixer in everybody's problems. Someone is going through this, you feel like you can solve, you feel like you can always be there for everyone. So it means eventually you end up carrying people, you end up spending so much emotionally than what you're receiving. Just like you're pouring and pouring and pouring all your emotions and spending a lot of emotions on this person without even thinking about yourself, without thinking about how much energy are you putting into this. So when you try to rescue everyone and be the Messiah, you are a fixer, and eventually you start to love yourself from a distance. I don't know if you're getting. When you try to rescue everyone, you're trying to be the Messiah in everybody's life. Eventually you start to lose the relationship that you have with yourself. Eventually you start to love yourself from a distance. Now you're loving yourself second hand, just as I said in the previous video. So what do you need to do? Learn to know that you cannot be everything to everyone and everything to that person that you're trying to keep a distance from, or to love from a distance. I hope we are flowing. Anyway, number 4, commit to not taking on their drama. Commit to not taking on their drama. There are some people, if you're involved with in this life, drama will be your second name. Like, you will basically be involved in all sorts of drama. So commit to not being part of their drama and not taking on them. Don't be the fighter at someone is going through something, someone has done something to someone. Now you always want to be in the forehand at taking charge and doing things you want to prove you're a good friend or anything. Don't be that person. So try to avoid their drama. If you know they're filled with drama, their life is dramatic, put a stop to it. Try to draw boundaries when it comes to things that are so dramatic in their lives. Draw boundaries with that, and the moment you stop taking on to their drama, you'll notice that there'll be distance and you won't be as close, and eventually you just start to love them from a distance. The point here is I love you, but I love you enough to love you from a distance, and I love myself enough that I have to love you from a distance. I have to redefine you, and I have to reassess who you are in my life. I have to reassess your role in my life. It's like you're reappointing. You have a company and you're feeling like it's not working well. You have to look at who is not working and who is working well. So in order to place the right people in the right positions, you might have placed people in the wrong positions, right? Anyway, the point number 5, redefine their purpose or role in your life. Redefine their purpose or role in your life. If you're calling someone a friend, sit down and analyze if they're actually a friend. Sit down and analyze if they're actually someone you actually need. Sit down and also analyze if you are gaining from this as much as you are giving. Redefine their purpose in your life. And what is their purpose in your life? Also redefine that. Sit down and ask yourself what this person's purpose in your life is. The moment you're able to give answers to that, you'll be able to know if you need this person or you don't need them. Also, sometimes you don't need to announce it. Sometimes just execute it. Sometimes you don't need to announce it, just execute it. You don't have to announce the reasons, because some people will do things knowingly and expect you to turn a blind eye on them. So the moment you will go and try to explain why 1, 2, 3 is happening, they might even start victimizing. They'll say, oh, you're doing this because of what? You're doing this because of this. And that's why sometimes it doesn't call for an announcement. Just do it. Sometimes you just have to execute it. The last point. The last point. It's not a point, it's just something to add on. You've been loving yourself from a distance. Start loving yourself up close. Start loving yourself up close. Start doing these things that you're doing for people. Start loving people like yourself, the way you're loving people, the way you're pouring into others, pouring to yourself. And then from a point of wholeness, you're able to see that you cannot be loved in a certain way, or you cannot tolerate a certain type of behavior. But if you are loving from a point of scarcity, you'll always be begging for the bare minimum, things that are supposed to be offered to you naturally and freely. You are begging for them, literally. So love yourself up close. And doing this can mean people will feel distant. If you start loving yourself, you start to recognize your surrounding. You start to know, I don't think I need this person, I don't think I need this person. And that's the thing, that's growth, that's the thing. I'm not saying you cut off people, I'm saying just love people from a distance. You don't need to say, Mati, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. No, don't need to shut people out. But in the same breath, just know one way. We've already said you redefine their purpose. If their purpose is not in line with yours, there's nothing you're going to do. We are doing in that friendship or that relationship. Just redefine and reassess people before you give them access to you. Mm-hmm. You've been doing it wrongly for a long time, that doing it right doesn't feel right. So when you start to love yourself, and radically, I like to say radical self-love. It's radical. When you start to do it, you start to feel guilty. You start to feel like it's wrong, because you're so used to not doing it the right way that now doing it the right way feels so wrong. It feels like it's not right. It feels like this is not how it's supposed to be. But it's because you've accustomed to conditions that you are just supposed to pour into people, and you don't know how to receive love. You don't know if you're supposed to receive love, and you don't know what type of love you're supposed to receive. So today, I'm asking you to love yourself up close and do all the things you do for people, for yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. See you in the next one. I'll try to do more of these talking sessions I really enjoyed them. I hope you guys are gaining something from them. I've been learning a lot lately, and I'm trying to learn even as I'm telling you guys. I'm also trying to practice loving people from a distance. I'm also trying to practice all these things, and there's wholeness. In wholeness, you can give better. You can love better. If you are whole, you'll be able to express yourself better if you're coming from a point whereby you're not pouring from an empty cup. Fill your own cup, and then the overflow will fill the other people's cup. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye. Please subscribe.